Okay, hello. So this is the fourth tutorial on using Go for robotics. Um, so in the last episode, we looked at using Gobot to control a Raspberry Pi and an Arduino. So the idea was to be able to both control, for example, stuff that goes on the Raspberry Pi, such as using the Pi cam or something else, and as well as controlling stuff going on the Arduino, so blinking an LED. So this is all fun, but very theoretical and just a proof of concept. So the next step would be to play with actuators. So the first one we're going to play with, and this is going to be just for this video, is so I got this little turret, let's say, for with the camera on it, and behind it, if I can show you, there's this little servo motor. So in this episode, we're just going to move this, and the idea is this is going to be the y-axis, and have the camera just be able to move up and down and follow a face. So I got some wires connected to it, and I'm going to connect those to the Arduino and the Pi. So I'm not going to show you how to connect them because it's only 3 wires. So you want to connect 2 of them to the power. So for that, I actually need to look at the GPIO Raspberry Pi. And you want to connect them, here we go, so I'm not mistaken for the polarity. So red wire goes to number 2, which is this one. Number 1, okay, and the ground goes on the 3rd one. So there we go. Here we go. Nothing's blown up, okay, and I still have access to the Pi, so I didn't short circuit anything. Great. Next, we want to put this. Okay, it's funny when I'm touching the signal cable, I'm actually moving the servo motor. Anyway, so we want to put this on number, let's say number 2 on the Arduino. Okay, so if I show you my setup, I'm gonna zoom in, and if we go here, so this is the setup. So the Raspberry Pi got the power for the servo motor plugged in here. Okay, and the signal is just going into the Arduino to a pin number. In my case, it's number 2. Great. So just go. Great. So what we want to do now is go in our editor and make ourselves 2 files. So the first file is going to be exactly the same as in the previous tutorial, the main file. So I'm just going to copy and paste this in here, and I'm just going to comment out the camera because we will be using this later. So we will just be using the Arduino for the moment. Okay, and we're going to need to make a second file, which is going to be our let's say, so Arduino robot.go. And I'm going to copy and paste what we did last time just to blink the LED. Okay, so just to go quickly, we're using Fermata. We're going to remove this. We're including time, which I don't know if we'll be using, it doesn't matter. So we're creating this new function that's going to return the robot that will be added to the master. We're giving the new adapter, which is the Fermata, with the proper address. We can remove, just looking at my notes, we're going to replace this device. We're going to replace the work and change it here as well. So the device we want to make this time is a servo. I'm going to click Y for the Y-axis. And this is actually going to be GPIO, so I actually do have to put GPIO back on top. Drivers GPIO. Here we go. GPIO, new servo driver. And we give it the adapter as well as the pin. In our case, it was pin 2. Just to know what can we do with this servo. So actually what you want to do to look at the documentation is if we go back to our web browser, we can either look at the platforms here, and in there are the drivers, and there should be one for servo. Yes, it's here, but you can see there's not a lot of code. And hopefully I might be able to help this project and add some code examples here. He's actually got the wiring diagram. But if we go to the API, and we're going to go to the main list at the top. So this is the Go docs, okay? If we look in there, here we are. So we got different functions, methods for the functions. So we create a new server driver and we can center the server. We can make the connection halt, which I had trouble with. Go to the maximum value, minimum value, move. So this we'll be using. We can name it. We can set the pin, set name. We can start. So we can do stuff. There's also a type servo writer, which I'm not sure what's different with it, but in our case, the servo driver works. So we've created the server driver. Now we want to start some work, and the work is going to simply be starting the a function which will be taking care of all this. So it's going to be servo, what can we call it? Servo manager. And in there we give it the servo object. Great. In the device we can add this, and we're good for the general, for the pseudo main function. Okay, so now we need to create this. So this is going to be the function that actually controls the thing. So for the moment, we're just going to just go up and down, wait, up and down, wait. So function, give it this name. For the moment, I'm not sure what type this is. So there are two ways to know this. We can either go in the documentation, and if we look, the servo driver creates a servo pointer, so we could copy this, go in there and do gpio.this, or the more lazy way would be to put the wrong type, do nothing, I just return there because it's going to throw an error. And if we go into our terminal, we change to tutorial 4, we do go run everything that ends with go. Here we go, it says that servo type gpio.servo driver as type int. So we actually got our answer here. So we could copy this and paste it here. It's a way of doing it if you're not sure, if you don't know where the doc is, if it's not well documented. So yeah. Great. So first thing we want to do is just center the servo. So we can do servo, we're just going to call it s dot center, and then just finish this, and let's see what happens if I just run this now. Oh, got a mistake. Syntax 910. Yes. I put one too many parentheses here. Save that, go back to the terminal. Imported but not used, I'm just commenting this out. And here we go. So if I show you with the webcam, so sorry for the mess. It's going to move a little bit. So if I just move the servo up, if I just unplug this, move this up, put this back in there. Okay. Rerun, should put it horizontal. Good. So we do have the control for the motor. Now we're just going to put a little loop that's going to put it up, wait, put it down, wait, put it up, wait, put it down, wait. Okay, so for that it's quite simple. So we can do time select, just select for a second, not a second per se, but like 200 millisecond time, millisecond. And then there are two ways of doing it. So it's that, this is just translating what you can find on the Arduino example, which is either doing a for loop and add, which is going to jitter, but you can control the time, or just give it a number. So for example, what we can do is say serve move, and we can put something like 20. Then we're going to sleep for half a second, and then copy this and do move, I don't know, 160. Technically, you can go from 0 to 180, but these are the hard limits. So I would just keep away a little bit from them. This is the angle in degrees. So what we can do is do this a few times. So for I equals 0, I smaller, then let's say do it 5 times, I plus plus, and don't forget to wait after the last one. Here we are. So let's save this and see what happens. So I'm gonna quit out of this. Syntax error, line 14, which is, yes, I've actually put space between the comma and the equal sign. Time undefined, so I need to uncomment time. Great. You see, whoops. Okay, I'm going to restart it. So the first thing it's going to do is put 0 and then just say yes. Okay. But it's going a bit fast. So what you might want to do is go a bit slower. And for that, we just do a for loop as in the example. So if I go back in here, so we do that 5 times, and then let's censor again, wait again, and then just go down slowly and up slowly. So for that, we can do something like this. So it's just copy and paste. I'm going to remove these. So what we want to do is go, yeah, maybe I should just rewrite this. So for n equals 0 till n, it's not 0, I want to start from 20, for example. N is smaller than 160. Then we add a given value. So it could be 1, or it could be a bit more. And this is where the increment in the degrees could be added. So then we move. And what we need to make sure, if we go back to the documentation for the move, we see it's asking for an unsigned integer, 8-bit integer. So you need to know this, because if you just put n here, or we can try, Let's see what happens here. So, well, it's going to crash, and the reason it's going to crash, it's because n by default is an integer, but we need an unsigned a, so we need to convert this value, and it's as simple as stating the type just before. Put one too many n's. So now it's going to go up. Then we can wait 200 milliseconds, remove the typo 3, then go back down like this. So let's see what happens. So it saying hello 5 times. Then okay, not sure what's going on. Let's see, I'm going to remove the initial moving and do a little bit of debugging. I might skip forward. Of course, so it actually did what it was supposed to do. I just want to add this main loop. So I just did it, but did it once and I didn't realize. So what we can do is add a new loop so it can do it 5 times. And maybe we can add a little time sleep here. Something like, I don't know, 50 milliseconds. So it should be able to go much slower. Let's see, yeah. So it's going up slowly, down rapidly again. Oh, yeah. The reason it's doing that is simply because, well, it's my fault, obviously. It's just because I didn't change the greater sign here. But basically you get the idea. So you can control the angle through the program. You can move the motor. So imagine that the value telling it to go up and down could be linked to where my face is on the picture. So this will be one of the next tutorials. So I think I'll just end up here for today. If you have any questions, comments, you know how to use YouTube, you can find a code on GitHub. If you have any issues, please post them on GitHub. It's a bit easier to manage. And that's pretty much it for me. So I'll see you later.